What's going on, everybody? It's your boy EVT coming back at you with another video. And with the coming adoption of electric vehicles, the environment around you is also going to change. One of the major conveniences of owning an electric vehicle is the ability to charge at home. With the average cost of home charger installations costing less than $600, the people who can install a home charger will do that. But where does that leave people who don't have that option? This will mainly be people who live in multi-family buildings. And what about if you're on a low charge away from home? Stuck at the office, downtown, middle of the road? What about flat tires? Those suck, right? Stick around and we'll explore some of the solutions that exist and expand our minds to what's coming. The reality of electric vehicle ownership and charging at home means that, in theory, we won't need nearly as many public charging stations as we currently have gas stations. This is under the argument that every night an EV owner will be able to charge overnight. And as battery technology improves among auto manufacturers and their partners, range will increase in the future. All of these technologies are to reduce range anxiety, but public chargers are going to be the primary solution to that. If you use the internet to search for a public charging station, I'm willing to bet that a lot of you could find one within a 5-mile radius of wherever you are. Right now, they're more than likely located at some place of business where you can conveniently charge your vehicle and go about your business as usual. Examples of this include grocery stores, shopping centers, and beaches. Charging stations like these are going to be important because it's going to influence the overall adoption speed of EVs. For the examples of possible EV problems mentioned before, regarding the multifamily unit, for getting a charge overnight before work, or just having a little too much fun on your joyride, having functional public chargers will be necessary. There are several different states and companies running pilot programs to find answers to these problems. Cities Today, the first global magazine to contain analysis, comment, and best practices on sustainable urban development and connecting local governments with public and private sector solutions, highlighted a company that created a parking sensor designed to help in the urban planning process. The company is owned by Google's parent company, Alphabet, and is called Sidewalk Labs. Sidewalk Labs created a product called Pebble, a sensor to help cities improve parking and curb management. Quote, Pebble provides real-time data about parking space availability with a dashboard to give municipalities, operators, and real estate developers an understanding of historical patterns. Cities give a ton of space to park cars. A lot of environmental advocates argue that many parking spaces are better transformed into spaces that make cities more walkable and green. Pebble could help solve this problem using data it's collected to consult governments on where the least active areas are with auto activity. This makes it easier for governments to be able to plan for green initiatives like more walkable neighborhoods. Another way that Pebble helps improve the environment is by delivering real-time parking information that can alert drivers when spaces are limited before they even leave home, encouraging them to use alternate travel modes like public transportation, carpooling, or some of the newer e-bikes and e-scooters being released today. Nick Jonas, senior creative technologist at Pebble, said in a blog post, quote, these insights can help communicate space availability to customers, reduce circling, and create shared parking zones that minimize the number of spaces built in the first place. Parking is actually a big problem in terms of usable spaces for humans instead of just momentarily housing cars. Data shared from the Pebble could be used to create the shared parking spaces and build less parking. This could help businesses too. For example, a restaurant that knows the majority of their businesses at night might share parking space with nearby offices. As far as privacy on the Pebble, it only collects information on whether a vehicle is there or not, using sensors, no cameras. Technologies like these will go a long way for thinking of better ways to more efficiently use the environment, thereby hopefully decreasing the need for vehicles in cities even more. The next innovative technology we're going to be talking about is wireless charging roads. In early October, Governor of Michigan Gretchen Whitmer announced that plans are underway to build a 1-mile stretch of state roadway in Wayne, Oakland, or Macomb counties to allow public transportation and private vehicles to charge while traveling as a part of the inductive vehicle charging pilot. The charging power within the circuit will include either DC fast charging or level 2 chargers, and the plan is to provide EV charging infrastructure to make road trips around the lakeshore easier. You heard that right. This plan basically, quote, plans to deploy the electrified roadway system that allows electric buses, shuttles, and vehicles to charge while driving, enabling electric vehicles to operate continuously without stopping to charge. Wireless charging roads can be accomplished using 3 different technologies. The first is an inductive power transfer from the road, which then sends the power between a set of coils in the roadway and a set of coils in the car. The second is through a power transfer from the road to the car through a rail. The third option uses overhead conductive charging that transfers power for charging through a connection to overhead lines, which is often used for buses and trains. Officials hope that the road will increase the adoption of electrified vehicles, which is slower in the Midwest than in several coastal states. The 5 Midwestern states of the Great Lakes region, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio, have a combined total of less than 75,000 electric vehicles registered on their roads, according to the U.S. Department of Energy's Alternative Fuels Data Center. For context, on the East Coast, it only takes New York, New Jersey, and Maryland to pass their totals. Down south, both Texas and Florida. In the West, just California. Another Midwestern state trying to figure this technology out to increase EV adoption is Indiana. The Indiana project uses the first method of wireless charging we talked about earlier, utilizing magnetized concrete that creates a magnetic field to enable wireless charging of electric vehicles, according to the Indiana Department of Transportation. The field is created by coils buried in the road that mimic the way wireless charging pads for phones are designed. Electric vehicles would have to be fitted with the receiving coil to be charged while on the electrified road. Currently, the wireless charging road is being installed in West Lafayette, Indiana at a research facility. There is no timeline for the technology to be complete or implemented. While this technology seems to be a little less promising because of EVs having to be fitted with the receiving coil for it to work, the concept for how to create wireless charging roads is finally being materialized. And like all new technologies, it will take time to both be operational and reliable. I actually told people close to me earlier in the year that this was going to be the next innovation for charging as far as EV adoption. Imagine this. What do you do if you have a pretty low battery and you're just going to miss the charging station by 1/10 of a mile? That's going to be a pretty tough roll, especially considering the weight of EVs. A more favorable scenario is one where strips of wireless charging roads are strategically placed to reduce the chances of having a completely dead battery. Depending on the durability of these wireless charging roads, it might make more sense to incorporate the technology into existing interstate roads as opposed to having tens of thousands of charging stations, especially at this crucial point of EV adoption where all the auto manufacturers have decided that autonomous driving is more important and closer than we've ever been. Speaking of autonomous vehicles, that's the next topic of today. As the transportation industry continues to grapple with shipping and logistical challenges, especially with the shortage of truck drivers, some companies have gone all in on autonomous vehicles. Companies like Ford, Waymo, and Argo AI are using the city of Austin, Texas as a testing ground of sorts, according to the Austin Business Journal. Quote, city officials are working to keep Central Texas on the cutting edge of this technology. Austin transportation officials announced May 13th that the department is, quote, on the brink of building a network of automated vehicles with real-time information to optimize traffic signal timing, reduce congestion, and fuel consumption. Simply put, it's the most basic version of the video game Watch Dogs that you can think of, where seemingly everything and everyone is connected digitally through the local government's operating system, CT or City OS. Quick sidebar for the comment section. I'm not saying Watch Dogs' level of connectivity is the goal. What I am saying is all technology comes with a risk, even though it's designed to help us. A great example is the Colonial Pipeline hack that caused a major gas shortage earlier in the year. The autonomous vehicles being tested in Austin that interact with its environment are called connected automated vehicles and work by combining an autonomous vehicle's internal sensors with the connected vehicle's ability to communicate with nearby infrastructure and vehicles, according to the announcement. So far, like the wireless charging roads, there is no timeline for when this tech will be deployed. Vehicle autonomy is going to revolutionize our world like the Model T did in the 20s. One of the biggest changes will be to the transportation industry as a whole. Right now, due to the ongoing supply and logistics issues straining governments and businesses around the globe, truck drivers are under an immense amount of pressure to make their deliveries. This pressure has not only been felt on the shelves of grocery stores, but also on our roads and freeways as accidents involving semi-trucks are increasing at an alarming rate. Autonomous driving could be a tool to help take a lot of the stress from truck drivers. Let's be honest, a road trip on cruise control feels a lot differently than one without it, because it takes away the majority of the repetitive mechanical actions we do while driving, mainly accelerating and braking, leaving more energy for the driver to be able to take control when they need to and be more aware of their surroundings. Lastly, in the year 2021, how is it that we have phones that can survive being submerged in water and self-inflating tires, even electric cars, and yet people's entire days can still be inconvenienced by just one of these? Well, Michelin Tires has been working on a product to make flat tires a headache of the past. Their new tire, the Uptis tire, is a puncture-proof tire system made of glass fiber reinforced plastic. It's a regular tire for the most part, just no air. The advantage of these tires is the fiber reinforced plastic is what's supporting the tread rather than the air pressure, meaning the worst thing that could happen if you happen to run over a nail is you hear it until you take it out. Many questions have yet to be answered as it relates to this tire though. The first being, for the added benefit of never having a flat tire, does the Uptis decrease or increase ride quality? And what about road noise? For those who live in cooler climates and get snow, what's the traction like? And finally, what is the cost of these tires going to be? At this point, a lot is unknown, but we are soon to find out as GM is set to test the tires on a fleet of Chevy Bolt EVs. The Uptis Airless tire is aiming to come to market in 2024. Well, that's all the exciting EV infrastructure news for now. Let me know in the comments section what technology you're most looking forward to, especially if you're excited about it and it didn't make this list. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos about electric vehicles and electric vehicle infrastructure. Thanks for watching. This is EVT, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.